3, 2, 1.
Hello and welcome to Rugby League Fanfare, brought to you by the International Rugby League Supporters Federation. My name's Rob Corra. I'm your host for this, our February edition of Rugby League Fanfare. And in our February edition, in 1996, the largest pearl ever discovered, the 75-pound pearl of Puerto, was discovered in the Palawan Sea off the coast of the Philippines. Since 2011, another pearl has been growing in the Philippines, and this pearl is the game of rugby league. President of the Philippines Rugby League, Ronaldo Neri, is here to tell us about the growth of this pearl. So Ronaldo, welcome to Rugby League Fanfare.
Thanks, Rob. Appreciate you having me on the show.
Ronaldo, just to start off with, just give us an idea of how did this all get started? How did Philippines Rugby League get started? I imagine things might have started here in Australia.
Yeah, that's right. Look like other associations, and I'm sure they started in the same way that we did. It all started from where the sport is most played at, and it's here in Australia, Sydney or Queensland. It was all started by a handful of passionate Filipinos who wanted to see the sport grow and develop in the Philippines. Eric Elefante is one of the founding members of the PNRL when it was established back in 2011. He was actually part of the PRFU, which is the Philippine Rugby Union Association, and he branched off and did more work around rugby league. Got a handful of other Filipino to start up the game. It was basically meeting up with Taz Bateri at Circular Quay, one of the cafes over there. Put together a plan, and away they went.
So, all right. Now, the Philippines, actually, before there was a domestic competition, you'd already started, well, as a sort of as a national entity. You already started playing games before the domestic competition started. That's correct. Is that correct?
That's 100% correct.
Okay.
So it wasn't until really their first international was 2012. When they played in Thailand. In the first Cabinet International Nines. And previous to that Nines event, and hats off to the Nines event, because that actually was the birth of the Tamarails. Previous to that, the senior team was called the Carabaos, which is another form of the Asian buffalo. The Tamarails were born at the 2012 Cabinet International Nines. From there on, a couple of international games were played, and the first domestic season was played in 2016.
Okay, 2016, the domestic competition starts in the Philippines. So how many clubs are there in this competition, Ronaldo?
So currently, and Rob, I'll just take it back a step. So from 2016, it originated with 6 clubs, and that was a mix of new rugby league clubs like the Manila Storm. They're very much a foundation club, and some rugby union clubs in the Philippines, the Crusaders, clubs from Albay, and since 2016 to about 2019, clubs drop off, they come and go. And new ones get established. So Manila Storm actually branched off, and some of the players branched off and established the North Luzon Hunters, and some other players then established the Cavite Tigers, and they've been really prominent in regards to the competition. The Hunters and the Storm have been two of the most dominant teams in the domestic comp. We've had other teams from Caloocan, which is a Bulldogs team that was established out there.
Right.
But those three teams, Cavite Tigers, Manila Storm, and the Hunters, have been the ones that have been, their
All
regular
right.
seasoners throughout the domestic competition.
Okay.
We had COVID kick in, so
Yeah.
obviously the contact sports had stopped for about almost 2.5 years in the Philippines,
Yes.
and now we're going into a new season where we couldn't play last year, our
Yes.
domestic comp. So we're playing two competitions this year for 2023. One will start in March 26th,
Okay.
and that will run for about 10 weeks. And then following that, we'll have another competition kicking off in October. Our domestic competition runs from October, which normally runs for 4 months, throughout Christmas, finishing around end of Jan. Then obviously the union season kicks in, and we give our players an opportunity to play both sports. It's
All
good
right.
for development skills and so on. We don't want them dormant, waiting for the next competition to start. So they're leveraged across the two sports, which I see nothing but a positive for our players, and
Yep. Okay.
helps with their development.
So the regular season, I mean, okay, this year's a bit of an anomaly, but the regular season would go from October through to what, February or something.
Correct, yeah.
Yeah.
End
Okay.
of Jan, February,
Yeah.
depending. And we've got to remember, unlike Australia, the rugby league environment in the Philippines, we've got all sorts of weather. So a game
Yes.
might get cancelled because of a typhoon.
Yes.
Might be too hot.
Yes. Yeah.
So games get rescheduled, so they get pushed out. So
Right.
the season could end around February.
All right. And are all the clubs based in Manila, or are they around Manila?
Yes, at the moment they are.
Okay.
We're looking to expand down in Davao.
Uh-huh.
We've had some interest from two clubs, and we're looking to explore that opportunity. We're putting together a club down there as well, in Zamboanga, which
Uh-huh.
we hope will kickstart a Zamboanga competition with at least 4 clubs. So we'll have a competition up in Luzon, which is the main island where Manila
Yeah.
is,
Yeah.
and hopefully by end of the year or even start of next 2024 domestic season, we'll have a competition in Davao.
All right. All right. And are there, well, I mean, is there any sort of junior development or school competition sort of thing at the moment, Ronaldo?
Rob, not yet.
No.
That is part of our roadmap. We've actually put together a 10-year plan. Obviously, COVID
Yes.
delayed that by 2 years. But, even during COVID, we're able to get a lot of the administration tasks done, such as,
Yep.
re-establishing our membership with the IRL,
Uh-huh.
getting our sport recognised by the Philippine government. So we're a member of the Philippine Olympic Committee,
All
and
right.
also a member of the Philippine Sports Commission, which is massive.
Okay.
It's a huge step for rugby league in the
Yes.
Philippines, being a member of those two associations.
That is a big
Um,
move. Yes.
yeah. So part of the development growth is, you're right, junior development, and that's something that we will be focusing on this year,
Mhm.
with the promotion of some of our volunteers in the Philippines, and start getting them really involved with our 12-month plan and roadmap items.
Yes.
We're hoping to get the junior development program up and running. That's also an important item as well for our membership, for affiliate membership with the IRL. So we need to tick that off and make
Yep.
sure we've got a foolproof junior development program, which we
Yep.
will be targeting schools, and we have some schools already lined up. We've had schools in the province of Aurora, Bulacan, and Cavite, who are looking to add rugby league to their
Yes.
curriculum, and that's a big bonus for us.
Yes. Well, I mean, what about the universities as well? I imagine there'd probably be Australian, New Zealand students within the university system. I mean, is that a sort of a possibility for future growth? The universities are there.
Yeah, I mean, look, that's that's a big target. We
Yeah.
already have two universities that we're working with.
Okay.
And the universities in the Philippines, you're looking at 100,000 plus students there. So
Okay.
imagine adding rugby league to their curriculum, and then having dedicated coaches and trainers assigned to those universities.
Yes.
We'd have 100,000 plus participants in rugby league.
Yes.
Per university, and that's massive. And being associated to university, you get access to their facilities, you get access to their grounds,
Yes.
equipment, transportation. So transportation's a huge one for our domestic players. You can imagine when we have competitions, across various fields, players and teams have to travel. And I'm not sure if you've been to the Philippines, Rob, but for us, in Sydney, to get from Parramatta to Sydney, like it would take 3-4 hours. So transport costs, hits the players hard. So if we can cover that by leveraging off vehicles or transport from universities, which we can obviously use for free, then that's a bonus for our players.
Okay, so all right. And I mean, women's rugby league, mate, is that a sort of a bridge too far at the moment? Any women's involvement? Is that a bridge too far to start talking about that at this point in time?
Yeah, look, obviously our women's team are doing fantastic here in Australia. The Sampaguitas, we just played an IRL sanctioned match against Greece. January 28th. They were victorious there, so that was their second IRL sanctioned match. They played their first one against Malta at New Era Stadium in Cabramatta Leagues Club.
Right.
And they fell short 6-0. It was a great game by both sides. And you can tell by the scoreline, it was all made up of defence. And the Malta Dames got away with a converted try and added to their first world ranking points. Hats off to the Malta Dames, and that was their first IRL sanction match too. And then we've come in this year. Greece invited us to play over at Liga Mobile, and it was a great day. It was a great day. It was hot, but we came out 38-0, so it was great.
Okay. I'll talk to you about that in just a section. In just a second, but the other thing I wanted to ask about was sponsorship. Is there any sort of sponsorship? I mean, I know you mentioned just there Cabramatta, just there before, but back home in the Philippines, is there any sort of sponsorship at all of the competition or the clubs?
No, not yet. So in the past, a lot of funding came from players, board members, small businesses that could help out, and just fundraising in general. But with our membership with the Philippine government now, and that was established, when was it? Probably March last year.
Yes.
We've got an opportunity now to seek some funding from the Philippine Sports Commission. So we've submitted our budgets and just waiting to see what kind of funding we can get back, if any. But there's definitely opportunities for funding from the Philippine government and even some corporate sponsorship now that we're members with the PSC and POC.
All right, okay. And media coverage? Is there any sort of coverage in the local media of the competition, so forth, or was there until COVID interrupted?
Yeah. So look, we not in regards to live streaming, but we've had some media outlets cover our games.
Okay.
We've had some good write-ups provided by our board members. Eric
Yeah.
Alfante has actually been a great resource for us in regards to match reports, and we've been able to get these out to media outlets in the Philippines, such as like ABS-CBN, which is a major network over there.
Yeah.
And they've been actually able to publish that onto their website and sports columns, and along with other Filipino media outlets for Australian-based and both Philippine-based. So a lot of it's come from publications rather than live streams and camera type thing.
Yep. Yeah. All right. Okay. That's good. All right. Now, you just touched on it there, Ronaldo. There's one thing that, that is quite obvious, and that's the Tamaras, the Philippine national team. And there's no doubt that the Tamaras have been very active. You've played a lot of international matches, and you've had some very impressive results. And as you just pointed out there, you just recently played another test match a couple of weeks ago that was against Greece, wasn't it? Or
Correct.
yeah, and you won that game. So you've had a very busy international program since you got up and started.
Yeah, 100%. Since 2021, Brazil invited us for our first international since COVID.
Yeah.
And we were quite fortunate, and thank Brazil for inviting us to play. That was out at Redfern.
Yeah.
I forgot the name of the field, but the Tamaras were victorious in that game, and then we had a bit of a quick lockdown
Yes.
straight after that, which kind of impacted a lot of the other nations who wanted to play in October, November. But then we had those restrictions lifted. We played against Chile the following year, last year in Feb, out at Randwick, and the Tamarails fell short to the Chileans, and hats off to the Chileans. They did a good job preparing and really putting it in front of us. And then Malta, we had a 4-game event against Malta, which was the under 16s, 18s, women's and men's. Again, that was at October 23 at Cabra Leagues. And our Tamarals really did a good job coming from behind. I think it was like 16-4, and taking that game out 36-22, I think it was. But yeah, it was a good comeback, and really proud of the boys.
And I noticed that some of your players do have an NRL background.
Yes, we have a few actually. Paul Sheedy, he's played a few games for various clubs in the NRL. He's now coaching our men's team. We've had Cleese Haas, Payne Haas's brother.
Yes.
Play for us against Thailand in Brisbane at the Asian Football Festival, and that was October 9 last year, I believe it was.
Right.
And that was a fantastic event. I'd encourage you, if you're ever up there in Brizzy, Rob, to pop down and have a look. They play a yearly event, and it's just to promote Asian rugby league players and Asian heritage, and to get them involved with their associations. And Payne Haas has actually represented the junior Tamarals in the under 16s.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. That was a few moons ago. And we've had a few others like the Sharma brothers from Titans.
Yes.
Kevin Gordon again
Yeah.
for the Titans. So yeah, it's been a good mix, and even after they've retired, they've always been in touch and been keen to help grow Philippine Rugby League, which is fantastic.
And you mentioned you coached there before, but I imagine, well, the coaches must have been responsible for some of these, for all these good results you've been getting. Some of the coaching the team must have received.
Oh, 100%. Totally agree. You know, having the skills and knowledge of the game, obviously, shines down on the players and their strategies and tactics, and obviously, their preparation is a big part of their victories as well.
Yeah.
And that's all part of the coaching, and the trainers as well. So
Yes.
hats off to them.
It must be very difficult to get players from, well, various locations together, and prepare them for these matches. That in itself is a major feat to get players from, well, literally all over the country.
Rob, we've got players all over the world.
Yes, yes, yes.
We've got Greenwell brothers up in London.
Uh-huh.
They played for the London Broncos. They play for the London Strollers now. But those two, they're twin brothers. They're just units. And the last time they played for the Tamaraos here in Australia would have been 2019 against Italy over at Windsor Stadium.
Mm.
But we'd like to get players outside of Australia to come in. But I'm trying to look at competitions and tournaments where we could actually do that, and it's cost-wise for them.
Yes.
Hopefully
Yes,
it all
yes,
makes sense. Because obviously coming into playing games in Australia, and they've got to kind of look at their own travel insurance,
I know,
insurances,
yes.
and so on. But I'd love to incorporate some of our players outside of Australia into a Philippine team.
All right, and well, the World Cup, Ronaldo, is this a possibility down the track? You're not involved in the qualifiers for the next World Cup, is that true?
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah. That at some stage, would you be hopeful of sort of like getting involved in let's say, a qualifying tournament for a Rugby League World Cup?
Look, I'd hate to sound arrogant here, Rob, but 2029, you'll definitely see us in the qualifying stage.
All right.
Look, I'm really confident with the coaching and the teams that we have and the players and the structure we've got now, especially with our juniors. We've got some fantastic juniors coming up the ranks and their pathways into the senior team. This year we've got a big focus on junior women's, and hopefully we can start building on some of our junior women's players and provide them pathways into the San Paquito senior squad. And from an admin perspective as well, as, the Philippine board and myself, part of our roadmap our roadmap runs all the way to 2031.
All right.
And part of that, included in that roadmap is obviously World Cup 2029. And we've got some good plans and measures in place, and we're working with the IRL to get that affiliate our membership up from observer to affiliate ASAP. And there's a lot of work that we're doing at the moment to get that across the line.
All right, finally, Ronaldo, I just wondered if you wanted to say anything to the Filipino supporters. Are there any words of encouragement there for all the Filipino fans out there?
Look, yes, definitely. Keep supporting the PNRL. Watch us on our social media.
Yes.
Take up the sport. If you're a Filipino in the Philippines, reach out to some of the clubs that we have in Manila, and some of the new ones that are coming up. and keep growing the sport, keep growing the game. Without your sport, we don't exist.
Ronaldo, thanks so much for joining us here on Rugby League Fanfare, and best of luck for the future.
Thank you, Rob. Thanks again.
Oh, and a very big thank you to Ronaldo Neri for that information about the Philippines Rugby League. And on our website, if we've got all the information there, if you want to find out more about Rugby League in the Philippines, all the information is on our website, www.rlfanfare.com. www.rlfanfare.com. Now, very quickly, I just wanted to fill you in on some other, very important news in actual fact, and this is the qualifying for the 2025 Rugby League World Cup. The International Board has released all the details as to the qualifying process for the next World Cup. So for the men's tournament, now firstly, the 8 quarter-finalists from 2022. Okay, so all the 8 nations that made the quarterfinals in the men's tournament, they automatically qualify. Plus, of course, the host France, they qualifies as well. So there are 7 other places up for grabs. Now, 4 of those places will be determined by the European Championship. All right. Now, the European Championship is going to be contested by 2 groups. In Group A, you've got England, France, Ireland, Italy, Scotland, Serbia, and Wales. Now, the top 2 sides from Group A will qualify for the 2025 World Cup. So remember that England and France are granted automatic qualification. So 2 teams from either Ireland, Italy, Scotland, Serbia, or Wales will be competing for those 2 spots. They will go through to the European qualifying tournament to be held in 2024. Now, in Group B of the European Championship, we have the Czech Republic, Germany, Greece, the Netherlands, Norway, and Ukraine. Yes, Ukraine. They're still playing rugby league, even with missiles flying overhead. Now, those 6 nations are going to be split into 2 groups of 3, and the teams that finish on top of these groups will again go through to the 2024 World Cup qualifying tournament. So again, that's a very interesting group. Czech Republic, Germany, Greece, the Netherlands, Norway, and Ukraine, 2 of those teams to go through. Now, also, there are 2 teams from the Americas, so South and North America. So there will be a qualifying tournament involving Brazil, Canada, Jamaica, and the United States, and top 2 from that tournament will qualify for the 2025 World Cup. Now, in the Women's World Cup, expanded to 16 teams. Okay, so it'll be a 16-team competition in the men's, 16-team competition in the women's in 2025. All the teams that played in the 2022 World Cup, okay, all 8 teams, Australia, New Zealand, Papua New Guinea, England, Brazil, Canada, the Cook Islands and France are guaranteed a spot in 2025, okay? Now, there are 4 more places guaranteed for the European nations. And these 4 places will be determined by a qualifying process. That qualifying process will be between Greece, Ireland, Malta, Italy, Serbia, Turkey, and Wales. Okay, so there's 7 countries there, split into 2 groups. 1 group of 3 countries, 1 group of 4 countries. And the top 2 teams from those 2 groups will qualify for the 2025 World Cup. Now, also, we have 1 place for a team from the Americas. Remember, Brazil and Canada are automatic qualifiers, but Chile, Jamaica, and the United States will play off for 1 spot in the 2025 Women's World Cup, right? And finally, now the final spot in the Women's World Cup, and this is a big plus. This is a big movement here because there'll be one spot guaranteed to a team from the Middle East Africa section of the international board there. So one team from Middle East Africa will go into a qualifying tournament. The Middle East Africa qualifiers, we have the Cameroons, Ghana, Lebanon, Morocco, Nigeria, and South Africa. So those 6 teams will be split into 2 groups of 3. The winners of those groups will play off for a place in the 2025 Women's World Cup. So again, that's going to be a very interesting qualifying process there. Just those countries again from Middle East Africa: Cameroon, Ghana, Lebanon, Morocco, Nigeria, and South Africa. And we'll keep you up to date with all those qualifying tournaments here on Rugby League Fanfare. And now, another thing that's been very bad on my behalf is that I haven't thanked all those people who've joined the International Rugby League Supporters Federation. Thank you very much for joining us here on Rugby League Fanfare. You can join the IRLSFF by going to our website, www.rlfanfare.com, www.rlfanfare.com. If you go to our website, you'll see that there is a Join Us page. Just click on that Join Us page. I'm told it's all very simple, straightforward process. So again, thank you to all those who have done that. That's about all we have time for you this month, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you've enjoyed the show. In the meantime, you've been listening to Rugby League Fanfare, brought to you by the International Rugby League Supporters Federation. My name's Rob Corral. On behalf of President Bob Brown, this program was recorded in the studios of Undercover Music. Your producer is Adriano Aldemar. Until next month, may the force be with you.
Nung isilang ka sa mundong ito, laking tuwa ng magulang mo, at ang kamay nilang iyong ilaw. At ang nanay at tatay mo'y di malaman ang gagawin, pinamasdan pati pagtulog mo. Sa gabi nagpupuyat ang iyong nanay sa pagtimpla ng gatas mo. At sa umaga na may kalong ka ng iyong amang tuwang-tuwa sa'yo. Ngayon nga ay malaki ka na, nais mo'y maging malaya, di man sila payag, walang magagawa. Ikaw nga ay biglang nagbago, naging matigas ang iyong ulo, at ang payo nila'y sinuway mo. Di mo man lang inisip na ang kanilang pinagaway para sa'yo. Kat ang nais mo'y masunod ang layaw mo, di mo sila pinapansin. Nagdaan pa ang mga araw at ang landas mo'y naligaw, ikaw ay nalulong sa masamang bisyo. At ang una mong nilapitan ang iyong inang lumuluha. At ang tanong, anak, ba't ka nagkaganyan? At ang iyong mga matay biglang lumuha nang di mo napapansin. Magsisisiyag sa isip mo, nalaman mo ika'y nagkamali. Magsisisiyag sa isip mo, nalaman mo ika'y nagkamali. Magsisisiyag sa isip mo, nalaman mo ika'y nagkamali.